Today on Black Twitter Talk, we are talking Beyonce's maternity shoot, Black History Month, and the Vaughn Rebellion, and more. Hey, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode, Black Twitter Talk. This is Sid from the internet. She dropped her new album, Finn. Y'all should get into it. I know she got her own. I got my own.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Angie Skates. You can find me on Twitter at Angie_Skates and on the gram at Big_Ange.
What's up, you guys? I'm your girl, Kels, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Urban Gypsy LA. Shout out to all the girls that got their own.
They got their own, okay? That are dreamers but sleeping alone. She got lyrics for days, though.
She really
She's like one of the most prolific lyricists that's doing the damn thing.
Hashtag bars.
She got bars for sure. She got flows. I love her.
Yeah, her whole swag is just...
It's crazy. She sounds a little bit like Aaliyah on some of the tracks on this album. I hear a little bit of Janet.
And I just love how she stayed true to that vibe feel, but then it has a little bit more of a trap rap type vibe to it too. You kind of be like, wait, who is this again?
Somebody on Twitter was like, Sid, you better go all the way off with your Dyke and B.
Like, what?
R&B, Dyke and B.
I don't like that one.
You didn't like it?
No.
It was another gay woman that was saying it.
Okay.
And she's in love with it. So am I. Like, it wasn't a negative thing.
I guess I get it because when I'm listening to it, I'm not thinking about whether or not she's singing to a man or a woman. So that's, I guess, if I was a woman into women, then
you would be into it.
But that's what I like about it, that you could, it doesn't matter if you're into man, woman, if you're a man or a woman into man or woman. You know?
I'm into Sid, though.
I'm hella into Sid. I low-key have a crush.
I have a crush on you, too. I'm mad that we can't come see you. Anyway, let's get into it.
Today, her tickets are already sold out.
They're sold out.
For LA.
Like, Sid, y'all need to play bigger theaters. I need to come see you, boo. So, let's talk about Queen Bee.
Yes.
So she does it again. Anything that she does, she just takes over the internet.
She broke it.
She broke that. Beyonce, she channels Yoruba deities in this shoot. And this is something that she's been doing, I think, since Lemonade. We saw her in the video Hold Up. If you don't know that she paid, it was like in homage to Ocean, right? And even in Love Drought, she had a scene where she was Yamoja or Yamaya. She has several different names. And if you guys are not hip to it, she is really
So the Ocean, that's the one when she's in the water, right?
Yes, that's the one in yellow.
In yellow?
Yeah, and then Yamaya is seen in blue.
Okay.
Or like nude tones and stuff like that.
So yeah, one day you're going to have to go deeper in what all that means.
One day or like right now, like Ocean, they're Rishnas. It's a Yoruban religion that originates in West Africa, Nigeria. And they're basically African deities. So Ocean is the goddess of love and fertility, right?
Okay.
And then Yamaya, Yamoja, she's the god of the living ocean. Goddess of the living ocean, mother of all. So I think that the motif that we're continually seeing, even in the poetry from Warsan Shire, she talks about the different deities and how she has now 3 heartbeats.
Right.
And I think it's really beautiful to have this African spirituality keep showing up in B's work.
Yeah, I love that too, because I think it's interesting because everybody does not know that. You know, they're just like, oh, it's beautiful, it's pretty, but they don't even know that the other layers to it. So I always love when artists do something that may seem simple or beautiful or just like, oh, another cool thing, but it actually has deeper meaning.
Yeah, because we see her as depicted as a Black Venus too, or the Black Madonna. And these are all the representative of the same divine mother figure throughout different cultures across the globe. But it's amazing that Beyonce is giving light to young artists that are bringing these qualities to art. The shoot was shot by Ethiopian conceptual artist Awa Erziku, and he's 28. He's he born in Ethiopia, but grew up in South Bronx, and he does this thing where he does commission shows or shows on Instagram only.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
It's so cool. I think it's cool that she keeps giving these artists platform. I didn't really care that B was pregnant, like, with twins. Like, that news in and of itself, I really didn't care about.
I thought it was cool. I mean, I got the text, and I'm like, oh, wow,
Who
okay,
texted
cool.
you?
The homegirl.
Yeah,
and then I texted the other homegirl, and so it started. But then I just was so surprised at how many people were just, like, floored and had to repost it. And, like, they acted as if it was their actual homegirl that got pregnant.
Because it is.
I see. I guess I sometimes sleep on it because I know I was excited, but I wasn't excited to where, I'm about to repost it on Instagram. Like, but I saw so many people do it. She had over 9 million likes on the photo.
It was the highest liked photo ever posted on Instagram ever.
So I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I think too. Also, another thing. I don't know. I don't care about her twins. No, not like that. Like, I want you to have happy, healthy babies. Like, but she's not gonna perform at Coachella, or
Yeah, that's a good question. Everybody got super excited. Like, yes, B, you're pregnant, and then everybody's like, yo, but I was gonna buy Coachella tickets, so.
But like, we know Beyonce. When has she ever not been Beyonce and showed up for work?
Well, by then she'll be like 8 months pregnant.
That's why they said that she invited Rihanna and somebody else to do a set with her or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Did she? I didn't hear that.
I can imagine Beyonce 8 months pregnant on stage though.
I mean, but somebody also mentioned, I heard, that she might be on bed rest by then. Like, this pregnancy, she's not supposed to be doing the extras, basically.
Because she got 2 of them in there. Yeah. I think it's interesting, too, the backlash that black women get, specifically.
I was just about to ask you about that.
Yeah, about us loving Beyonce. Like, black men just get so wound up and uptight about that.
But are they, okay, because some people, I don't know, is it the black men that get mad, or is it Beehive that gets mad? Because I feel like
Beehive gets mad that Beehive is celebrating B?
No, that doesn't make sense. But
no, but they be like, now Beyonce's maternity sheet is going to distract from what's really going on, or, here they go again.
But I don't feel like that's just black men that are saying that.
It's
I guess
all
that's
men?
what I'm trying to say. No.
Who?
I think regular women are saying that, too. Like, you guys are tripping. You guys are going so hard for Beyonce. And I don't think
I never heard no woman say that.
I've heard women say it. But, okay, this is my argument. When people say, like, why you guys going so hard for her? I don't think it's so much that they're mad that Beyonce is, like, beautiful and pregnant. It's just, it's overwhelming, the response that we have to her.
That's what they mad at.
Yeah.
They don't understand that connection. Like, why are we so connected to Beyonce?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not?
She's the trillest out here still doing it.
Like, why
hard.
not? How could you not? Have you ever seen her? Like, and not just like her aesthetic, like whatever, that's boring. Solange's aesthetic is a little bit more appealing to me in that respect. But have you seen the woman do her thing? Come on.
I was talking about it too with a friend, and we were talking about like the New Edition story and how watching it, the nostalgia from it, and how good it was, and the quality of music then, and how we could still listen to that now, and it's still like such great quality and relevant. And I don't feel that we don't really have many artists today that hold that same creativity and power and longevity, and Beyonce is one of them, and that's why we go hard, because we were fanatics back then and knew
when she was Destiny's Child.
We were fanatics of lots of artists back in the day, but artists are not artists the way that they used to be anymore. She still is,
She is, absolutely. And I'm not going to Coachella anyway, so I don't care if you're not there either. So.
I was gonna watch it on YouTube or something.
Oh, well, anyway. So, Black Twitter.
What they do now?
They had a decree denouncing African American History Month. The same time that Donald J. Trump, I don't even know why I put the J on it. He don't even deserve the Donald. Trump issued a proclamation from the White House referring to Black History Month as African American History Month. And Black Twitter was like pissed. They really were like, how are you going to change the name from Black History Month to African American History Month, because it excludes a lot of people that are black that are not American, and that's not what the whole fundamental thing was about. They were just going in, and then people were like, relax. He's not the only president that has called Black History Month African American History Month.
Yeah, the way that they made it seem was that he specifically said, no more this. This is what it's called now from now on. So I'm like, whoa, he can do that?
No, he cannot. And he
but
did
that
not
was just
do
the
that.
words that he chose.
Yes. And Black Twitter was like, excuse me, more What?
No, I was just gonna say too. I was reading like his little speech, and when he's saying all he knows is MLK, Rosa Parks, and Harriet Tubman, which for a long time that's pretty much all I damn near knew, because that's all they taught us in school were like certain figures. So I feel like for him it is African American History Month because that's all he knows. He's not as educated in our history. Period.
Well, let us school you, okay? So Black History Month started with Dr. Carter G. Woodson as Black History Week. Back in the, I want to say it's like 1875 to be exact. And he was one of the first African Americans, he was actually African American, to earn a doctorate from Harvard. And he dedicated his career to African American studies. And his whole idea behind creating Black History Week is how it started, was to initiate the study of the African diaspora.
Yeah.
And as we all know from history, the transatlantic slave trade didn't only, take people from West Africa and bring them to America. They were dropped off all over the globe before we even got here. So it's Black History Month.
Because they're not all in America.
No, and the whole idea is to fill that void for that narrative of Black people, our history, and how rich our culture really is.
We not hidden figures no more, Donald.
And we all Black. Not everybody's American, though.
Right.
They're drawing
But
lines.
I mean, I wonder what do you guys think? Because some people don't like to be referred to as Black either. Like they think that is rude or not an accurate depiction of who they are either. So it's like, I'm curious what you guys think. Like, what do you identify as? Do you have a problem with being called Black, African American? Like, what's your issue?
How do you like to be called?
Me?
Yes.
I really don't trip that hard off of it. I think it just depends on the context and when it's used and the tone in which it's used that I'll be like feeling some type of way. But I'm cool with Black or African American.
I feel like it's others that are always caught up on that label, African American or Black. I feel like it's interchangeable for us.
I had a moment where I really was trying hard to decide, and I was gonna go hard for African American, but I like the color Black.
Yeah, and even though our ancestors are African, I'm pretty much real all 100% American. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm American.
I'm American for sure.
Yeah. Our other sister Stacy, she's doing the ancestry test. I want to know what else we are, though. Like, I want to know where we come from.
I just saw her today. She did the swabs and put it in the mailbox today. So we're going to figure out who we really
we'll
are.
Let you know.
Yeah,
we should have her come on when we do it.
So Beyonce took over all of the channels of social media and the internet. So I don't know if you guys heard, but Delaware prisoners did take over James T. Vaughn Correctional Center in Smyrna. And they had some demands. Actually, it's over now. It was a 20-hour standoff that started on Wednesday, February 1st, I think it was. And they took over a whole building. I think it was like Building C or something. And there were 5 hostages that were guards. One of them did not make it. They were killed in this whole thing. But they made a public call to some publication. I wrote it down, but I can't find it in my notes right now. The Wilmington News Journal, and they were trying to explain the reasons for the rebellion. Okay, they wanted education, they wanted reform within the prison, they wanted to know what the budget was being allocated for, because they said that because Trump was in office now, everything was going to change. Everything was going to change for the worse. So they wanted to ensure their basic human rights, and they first and foremost it was about education. They want to be
education and rehabilitation,
because that is not what the prison industrial complex is about. And we were at a point where we were kind of moving away, starting to break down the prison industrial complex, because we saw that the contracts with the federal prisons were
not being renewed.
Yeah, but then they decided to renew them, and they're going to utilize them as immigration prisons, which is important if you're paying attention to everything that's going on.
Right. Yeah, and then it's interesting because we had the prison strike earlier in September, and so this happened again, and it's just the conditions are not getting any better. They're going to get worse, and just like they said, Donald Trump being in office lets them know that it's only going to get worse. And so they're not having it. And so it makes sense. And like the strike that they had in September, that one started peacefully.
It was peacefully, and it was among
It was a lot of different ones. They planned it. It was peaceful, and some of them went haywire. When I was following up on it, some prisons ended up spending $1 million to send in some other troops to tear it down when it was just peaceful. So I think they're at the point now, the inmates, they're like, well, you guys aren't going to respond to us doing it peacefully, doing it the correct way, so we're just going to take over.
Resist.
To show you, yeah,
on all levels.
And it makes sense. Like, there's some of them I was reading too, that some of them are in 8 people are in a 4-man cell. A lot of them are being in solitary confinement for way longer than they're supposed to be. Like, it's just so many different things. We all know that the prison system is messed up, but it's like,
and it happened on the 152nd anniversary that Lincoln signed the 13th Amendment into law. And we all know from Ava DuVernay's 13th documentary that the whole reason that the 13th Amendment was to make slavery legal. If they were convicted of a crime. And that's they're like, look, we ain't gonna be no slaves no more. Not no more. Not today. Not ever. Y'all heard about Chance the Rapper?
What about him?
He is 7 times. He's Graminated. I just created a new word. He's been Graminated. No.
Wow. I'm just kidding. No, it does sound kind of cool.
I like it. Graminated.
But it makes me think of Instagram, not the Grammys.
Oh.
But go ahead, girl. What happened?
He was nominated 7 times for Grammys this year, coming up in a couple of weeks. No?
Yeah.
Next week, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, he's the first independent artist to be nominated 7 times for a Grammy.
But can we also notate that Kehlani was nominated for a Grammy before, and she was independent, right? She wasn't nominated for 7, so I'll give Chance that. But she got nominated for a Grammy as an independent artist last year, I believe, or the year before that. She was one of the first ones.
So was the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is a whole different kind of...
It's the next level.
Yeah, it's next level because he's nominated for categories that Kehlani and the internet could not have been based on how they...
Okay.
So, and then those rules are changing in 2018. There's a whole section devoted for SoundCloud streams, online streams, for the 2018 Grammys coming up. And I really do think that Chance had a big part in the way that is being orchestrated right now, because he did it. He's an independent artist. He sold crazy amount of records, and here he is nominated. He made a religious album too, a gospel album. Nominated.
Can you call it gospel?
I call it
gospel too, but I just had a debate with somebody the other day that was saying it's not really gospel.
It's faith-based.
I hear gospel music, but I just think, sometimes religious people, they're very, traditional, and if it's not done in the traditional way, then it's not quite gospel. But it was gospel for me.
It was gospel for me too, and I haven't been to church.
We don't need to get into that.
But when I put Chance the Rapper's album on Coloring Book, it takes me to church, and I'm okay with that. You know? Anyway, Chance.
I agree. I love Chance, and I'm looking forward to see. And I just love the fact that on one of his biggest songs, he's talking about not being signed to a label. Like, and it's like,
you don't want no problems with me.
It's like, one more label try to sign me, it's gonna be some jerk hair. I just think that's so dope. That's what his whole this whole mission is about.
He just dropped a clothing line.
Oh, he did?
Called I Love Obama or something like that.
Oh, cute.
And it's really cute. And one of the shirts, the designs has Malia's name written on it really big, and at the bottom in really small print it says, "It's okay, we smoke too."
I love it.
Yeah, that's good. I love Chance. He's awesome. He deserves it. Yeah. Do you guys hear about Nicki Minaj, just real quick before we go?
What happened?
So apparently the designer Giuseppe Zanotti designed like 25 shoes inspired by her, and she wore a pair on the cover of Cosmo, and he's doing some kind of celebrity capsule design where I don't know, I guess the celebrities are benefiting from the designs that Giuseppe Zanotti has created in their inspiration. But when Nicki reached out to talk about it, he wasn't taking her calls. The agency was like, "Oh, we're not taking your calls." And she took to Twitter and was like, "Can you believe this? I'm being discriminated against because I'm black, because I'm a woman. They won't even take my calls. He made 25 shoes, inspired by me, and and
Okay, so my thing is, did he literally say these shoes were inspired by Nicki Minaj?
Yes, they had a conversation about it. She wore them on the cover of Cosmo, and then now all of a sudden he's not taking her calls, and she's like going in on Twitter and Instagram, social media, saying this is not about the money. You can donate the money to these different charities, but run me my money, Giuseppe. Run me my money. That's
crazy. That's really crazy. That's rude as fuck.
It is rude, and I was looking at some of the... They scrubbed the website from... They took her shoes down.
What happened?
I don't know.
What happened behind the scenes that they said, look, Nicki, we don't like you?
I don't know, but Nicki got receipts because she was posting screenshots of her shoes, and they were cute, too.
They were?
They were really cute.
I want to see her.
I don't know, Giuseppe Zanotti, I hope you get it together. Because now we all know about you.
Yes. So tonight, if you guys are tuning in to us, thanks, because I know it's the Super Bowl's going on.
We competing with Lady Gaga. I know the halftime show was probably a while ago, but I heard it was insane.
I heard it was amazing. It sounds like she showed out as usual. And according to my timeline, it looks like the Falcons were beating the Patriots.
Good.
Is that true, you guys?
Good. We want the Falcons to win.
Yeah, I'm always rooting for the underdog. Why did I say
I don't know, but I think that's enough for today, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Happy Black History Month.
Black History Month. We're going to have... No, we black. We black. All the way black. Blackity black, black, black. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Angie Skates. You can find me on Twitter at Angie_Skates and on the gram at @big_Ange.
And I'm your girl, Kels. You already know. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TheUrbanGypsyLA. Thanks.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.